And it says, where do you stand on combining all three county school districts into one district?
Thank you. We talk about the budgets and how hard we are strapped for monies and things that we want to do. And yes, we do have a problem with our children being out of school, and yes, we do need more parental involvement in our school system. Does it make sense to economically and from a sense of helping our county get where it needs to be to merge the school? Would I support it? Yes, I would. I know it's a lot of talk, and matter of fact, it's always strange to me because most of the time when I hear about the word, it's always doing this setting right here. So, you know, it makes you wonder, you know, where are we really with this? Because it only seems to be an issue during election time. But I would support merger here in this county. And yes, if we're going to stand there as a county, you might live in this neighborhood, I might live in this neighborhood. But you better believe it. If we don't help each other get where we need to be, we're all going to see the effects from it. It's not just going to be me, my neighborhood, or your neighborhood. It's going to be the whole entire Halifax County. But just like Ms. Johnson was saying, when they look in the newspaper, everybody wants to come in a system where their children can be educated and educated well. They don't want to see people on this side, people on that side. They want to see a unified county that they can bring their businesses in and get the best for their companies. So, you know, if I say I love Halifax County, then I'm going to do everything I can to try to make it better.
The Bowood attorney made a profound statement that the Halifax County school system was in a crisis. And what I want to add to that is I would love to see us take this so-called crisis that we're in and turn it into an opportunity for our children. There are some things that are inevitable. Do I hate death? Perhaps so. It's inevitable. I need to be prepared. Do I want a merger? That's twofold. If it's a personal answer, or is it one for the community? If it's a personal answer, there are some advantages and there are some disadvantages. And right now, before I can find out whether I would be for it or whether I'd be against it, it will have to come from the research that needs to be done and has been started up. My time's up. Thank you.
Yes, I do favor merger because it's better and easier to support and finance one school system. You can't hear it, okay. I don't do a lot of hollering. It's better and cheaper to operate one school system. I heard some of the comments. How can you keep putting the county children down and you're talking about we bring the county, you don't want to bring Roanoke Rapids and Weldon children down to Halifax County school level, but why don't you give them the same opportunity you are giving Roanoke Rapids and Weldon? Then you make a judgment then. We always putting the county children down. It's time for the citizens of Halifax County to stand up and do what's right. And if you got a heart, you would vote for one school system. We don't have to keep waiting on the commission, because we can replace the commission. We are the citizens of Halifax County. It's up to us to merge these schools and do what's right for the county children. Every time you turn on, look at a newspaper or look at it on TV, always Halifax County children. But it's time to stop. Yes, I support one school system, and it's time for these people to to stand accountable and stop being in it for themselves and be in it for these children. I got one vote, and I will cast that vote if it's ever on the ballot to be one school system. And you all should be ashamed of yourself. Keep putting your county children down and always lifting the Roanoke Rapids children up and the Weldon children up. Whether I am elected or not, I will be opponent and decide on this county to get one school system, and thank you.
Now, I'm always a very analytical person when it comes to thinking and making sure that I make the right decision. However, in speaking about the consolidating of schools, I do a lot of research, and I research before I speak. Research shows that Roanoke Rapids City Schools, they do have African American children there, and our system, Halifax County, is predominantly African American. But I will say this to you so that you know this, that the African American children in Roanoke Rapids City Schools still score below the Caucasian students in Roanoke Rapids City Schools. Also, there's a quote that says, if students come to school in unequal circumstances, they will largely, though not entirely, leave schools with unequal skills and abilities in both cognitive and non-cognitive domains. I will support the merger of this system if it is going to improve the quality of education for our children. But we have to understand that we have to sit down and come up with a strategic plan to make sure that the quality of education will be improved. Because if you look at test scores and you look at African American, Caucasian, Hispanics, you gotta make sure that you know what you're talking about when we talk about merging these schools. It's not just about money, it goes to quality. And money is not gonna buy quality. The quality has to already be there.
Gladys Weldon, stand in support of combining the schools, but not just for the sake of combining the schools. I'd like to bring to your attention that every time someone speaks, they say, why merge the schools? Why would Roanoke Rapids or Weldon want to bring them down to the level of Halifax County schools? How much do you know about Halifax County schools? Do you know that we are in the process of excelling? And I think that if money were an issue or other situations were equitable, that we could see that our children would be achieving too. I do want to point out a couple of things. One is, the way this combination can happen is that all of the school boards of the three could come together and decide they could join. That's one. County commissioners could decide it, or state legislature. And I think the fact that we sit right by I-95, good location for businesses to come in, but they discovered that what we have here, and we talk about the poor schools, they may choose to go elsewhere. I don't know why we're waiting for Evergreen Solutions, but I wonder if you know there was $120,000 for verification. I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to say differently from what we already know. We're not Wake County, but I do want you to know when they had their situations, businesses stepped in, and it made a lot of people change their minds. We could utilize all of our resources, maximum use of our facilities. We have good buildings, and I think that we will understand how it affects the global economy. I want what's best for all of the children. And you need to know, too, that Weldon is predominantly black. All of this is about economy. That's where I used to work. That's where I retired. Amen. All right, we work where we can. So I do want you to consider those things when you are thinking about combination of schools.